Title: A Strong Mind Leads to a Quiet Life. Introduction. The Unseen Struggles of Midlife. Midlife is a time of transition. For many men over 35, it's marked by changes that can be subtle yet profound: career pressures, shifting relationships, health concerns, and a deeper awareness of time. With these changes come feelings of uncertainty, stress, or even a crisis of purpose. But it's not all bad news. Midlife can also be the start of a new chapter, one that offers wisdom, clarity, and the opportunity for personal growth. This book is about achieving mental clarity in midlife, giving you the tools to not just survive, but thrive. In the chapters ahead, you'll discover simple, practical steps to strengthen your mind and reclaim control over your life. Chapter 1: Understanding the Midlife Transition. Navigating the change: what happens mentally and emotionally. Midlife is often misunderstood. When people talk about it, they usually picture a man making impulsive choices, buying a flashy car, quitting his job, or walking away from his family. It's painted as a crisis, something dramatic and chaotic. But for most men, that's not the reality. The truth is more subtle and far more meaningful. Midlife is not a breakdown. It's a turning point. It's a shift that unfolds gradually, a quiet yet powerful transformation that touches how you think, feel, and see yourself. Between your mid-30s and early 50s, you may begin to sense this change. And while it can feel unsettling, it's also one of the most important and potentially empowering phases of your life. During this time, your body may start sending signals. You might notice that energy doesn't flow as easily as it once did. It takes longer to recover from workouts or long days. You might gain weight more easily or sleep less soundly. These physical changes are real, but they are only part of the story. Beneath the surface, something deeper is happening. A quiet voice starts to speak up. It asks questions you may have ignored for years. Am I living the life I truly want? Am I where I thought I would be by now? Is this all there is, or is there something more? These questions don't come from weakness. They come from wisdom. They are signs that your mind and emotions are evolving. What once motivated you, status, money, titles, achievements, may no longer feel as satisfying. You might still care about success, but now you also crave meaning. You want your life to matter in a deeper way. Psychologists refer to this phase as the midlife transition. It's a natural part of human development, not a failure or flaw. It's a period when many men become more introspective. You begin to look inward and reflect on who you are and what truly matters. It's less about chasing more and more about finding what is real, what is lasting. This can be confusing, especially when the demands of life don't slow down. You may be climbing the ladder at work, raising children, or caring for aging parents all at the same time. It's easy to feel pulled in too many directions. You might feel like you're holding everything together while no one notices the weight you're carrying. You wake up tired, push through the day, and go to bed wondering where the time went. You are not alone. Millions of men experience these same thoughts, the same sense of being stretched thin. And while this stage is challenging, it's also an opportunity. A midlife transition can help you reconnect with what truly matters if you approach it with honesty and intention. It starts with awareness. The moment you realize that what you're feeling is not strange or shameful but human and expected is the moment you begin to regain control. Instead of seeing midlife as a crisis, try viewing it as a signal. It's a call to pause, reflect, and realign. This is your chance to rewrite your story, based on the man you are now, not the one you were 10 or 20 years ago. You may need to release old definitions of success. Maybe you spent your 20s proving yourself, and your 30s building a life. But now, in this phase, the goal isn't just to achieve. It's to align. To live in a way that honors your deeper values. Maybe it's time to prioritize peace over pressure. Purpose over perfection. Connection over control. Some men discover they've been chasing goals that no longer excite them. Others realize they've been neglecting their emotional health or meaningful relationships. Whatever your situation, the midlife transition gives you permission to ask better questions and to listen for better answers. It's also a time to acknowledge your emotional world. As boys, many of us were taught to toughen up, to stay quiet about our feelings. But as men in midlife, growth comes from doing the opposite. Emotional awareness is not weakness. It's wisdom. You become stronger when you allow yourself to feel what you've been avoiding, whether it's disappointment, fear, sadness, or longing. These emotions are not your enemies. They are signals pointing you towards something important. And yes, this process takes courage. It's not always comfortable to examine your life or confront your own truth. But it's far more empowering than pretending everything is fine when you know it's not. By choosing reflection over denial, you set yourself on a path of clarity. You stop surviving and start shaping. In the chapters ahead, you will discover practical ways to navigate this transition. You will learn how to take care of your mind and body, how to redefine success, how to strengthen your relationships, and how to find clarity in a noisy world. You don't have to settle for drifting through the stage. You can choose to grow through it. You can take the questions and discomfort and turn them into momentum. You can design the second half of your life with more depth, purpose, and authenticity than ever before. So if you've been feeling restless, uncertain, or even a little lost, know this midlife is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a richer, wiser, more grounded chapter. The journey ahead may not be easy, but it can be deeply rewarding. And the best part? You don't have to figure it all out at once. Just keep going. Keep growing. You're exactly where you need to be. Chapter 2, Building Mental Resilience. Strengthen your mind, practical steps for toughening up. Resilience is not a trait you're either born with or without. It's not some rare quality reserved for the fearless. It's something every man can develop step by step, moment by moment. Especially in midlife, resilience is no longer optional. It becomes essential. Because as life gets more complex, career pressures, changing health, aging parents, growing kids, you need a solid mental foundation to keep moving forward. At its core, resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks. It means keeping a steady mind in the middle of chaos. When life throws the unexpected your way, resilience helps you respond with clarity, not panic. When someone criticizes you at work or when plans fall apart at home, a resilient man doesn't collapse under pressure. He pauses. He reflects. And then, he adapts. That doesn't mean you won't feel stress or disappointment. You will. We all do. But a resilient mind knows how to move through those emotions without getting stuck. It's not about ignoring what you feel, it's about learning how to deal with what you feel. That's real strength. One of the first steps to building resilience is becoming aware of your inner voice. What do you say to yourself when things get hard? When a deadline slips, when your partner is upset, or when you're exhausted, what story runs through your mind? Do you immediately think, I'm failing, or I'm not good enough? If so, pause for a moment. That voice isn't truth, it's habit. And like any habit, it can be changed. Start by noticing your thoughts without judgment. When a negative thought pops up, ask yourself, is this helping me right now? Is it even true? What would I say to a friend who was thinking this way? This small act of stepping back and questioning your thoughts gives you power. It helps you replace fear with focus, doubt with direction. Another important part of resilience is routine. Midlife can feel unpredictable, but creating structure helps you stay grounded. A consistent daily rhythm gives your mind a sense of order, even when everything else feels out of control. You don't need a complex system. Something simple can be powerful. Wake up at the same time. Take a few minutes in the morning to stretch, drink water, and set an intention for your day. These actions tell your brain that you're in charge, that you're not just reacting, you're leading. And don't underestimate the connection between your body and your mind. Physical movement isn't just good for your heart, it's fuel for your brain. When you move, you shake off tension, reduce anxiety, and unlock clarity. You don't have to train like an athlete. Take a brisk walk. Do a short workout. Even dancing around the house can shift your entire mood. Movement is momentum. And momentum builds confidence. Another key skill that many men were never taught is emotional awareness. We were raised to toughen up, to push through, to keep quiet. But real resilience comes when you allow yourself to feel without getting overwhelmed. When you're upset or anxious, don't suppress it. Don't numb it with distractions. Instead, slow down and name it. Say to yourself, I feel frustrated, or I feel stressed. Naming your emotion doesn't make it stronger, it actually softens its grip. You'll find that when you stop fighting your feelings, they begin to lose their power over you. And from that place of honesty, you can choose how to respond rather than simply react. That's what emotional strength looks like, not pretending to be unfazed, but being able to face the storm and still stand tall. And remember this, you don't have to do all of this alone. Connection is not weakness, it's a lifeline. Find someone you can talk to, someone who listens without judgment. Maybe it's a close friend, a partner, a coach, or a therapist. Speaking your truth out loud can be one of the most freeing and healing things you do. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need the courage to say, here's what I'm going through. That moment of honesty can change everything. Resilience is not about becoming untouchable. It's about becoming more flexible, more aware, more grounded in who you are. In this chapter of your life, strength isn't defined by how much you can carry, it's defined by how well you can adapt, recover, and grow. You can't control everything that happens. You can't prevent every challenge. But you can choose how to respond. And that choice, that daily decision to show up, to keep learning, to keep growing, is what sets resilient men apart. So if you're feeling tired, or tested, or like the weight of life is pressing down, just know this, you have what it takes to stand up stronger. Not by pretending to have it all figured out, but by being real, by staying present, and by moving forward one step at a time. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about becoming more of who you already are: focused, grounded, and resilient. Chapter 3, The Power of Routine and Structure. Routine as your anchor, the role of consistency. Midlife can feel like you're standing in the middle of a storm. Responsibilities keep piling up. Work demands more of your energy. Your family needs your attention. And somewhere in that chaos, your own needs and goals quietly slip to the bottom of the list. It's no wonder so many men in the season feel scattered, tired, or even lost. But there's a powerful tool that can help you find your footing again. That tool is routine. Now, when people hear the word routine, they often think of something dull or restrictive. But the truth is, a solid routine isn't about locking yourself into a boring schedule. It's about creating structure that supports you mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually. Think of routine as your anchor. It keeps you steady when life starts to pull you in 100 different directions. In a world full of unpredictability, a reliable routine gives you something to count on. And that sense of reliability, those small pockets of control, can work wonders for your mental clarity. It doesn't need to be complicated or overly rigid. In fact, the most powerful routines are usually simple. They're not about doing more. They're about doing what matters consistently. Let's start with your mornings. The way you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. You don't have to get up at the crack of dawn and conquer the world before breakfast. But giving yourself even 15 extra minutes in the morning just for you can change everything. Imagine this: you wake up a little earlier than usual. Before checking your phone or diving into work, you stretch your body, take a few deep breaths, and drink a full glass of water. Maybe you jot down one intention for the day, just a single thought that grounds your focus. It could be patience, strength, presence. That quiet, deliberate start helps shift your mind from survival mode into a place of leadership and calm. Now, think about how you end your day. Your evening routine should be a gentle signal to your brain that it's time to let go, to slow down. It might involve turning off screens, taking a few minutes to read, or reflecting on what went well and what didn't. Maybe you journal for 5 minutes, not to overthink, but just to release the mental weight you've been carrying. These small acts help your brain transition from tension to rest. And that rest is what your body and mind need to reset, recover, and show up strong tomorrow. What makes routines so effective is not how impressive they look. It's how consistent they are. Anyone can stick to a routine for a few days. But the real benefit shows up when you keep going, especially on the days you don't feel like it. That's when your routine becomes more than a task. It becomes a tool for resilience. And here's something else routines do: they protect your mental energy. Every day, we're faced with hundreds of tiny decisions. What to wear, when to eat, what to do next. Over time, this constant decision-making drains your focus. But when certain parts of your day are already decided, when they run on autopilot, you free up space in your mind for the things that really matter. A routine gives you that freedom. It takes away the guesswork. It reduces the noise. And in that space, you can focus your energy on growth, purpose, and presence. But maybe the most overlooked benefit of routine is what it tells you about yourself. When you commit to structure, you're sending a message: my time matters. My health matters. I matter. There's a quiet confidence that builds every time you show up for yourself. Not because someone is watching. Not because you have to. But because you've decided that you're worth it. That kind of self-respect isn't loud, but it's powerful. And it grows with every day you stay committed. So if life feels chaotic right now, don't look for huge, dramatic changes. Start small. Start with 1 or 2 things you can do each day, something steady, something grounding. Let your routine be your compass, especially when everything else feels uncertain. This isn't about perfection. Some days, you'll miss the mark. That's okay. What matters most is that you come back to it. Over time, these simple, repeatable habits become the foundation for a clearer mind, stronger focus, and a deeper sense of peace. Structure isn't a cage. It's your lifeline. And when your days have rhythm, your life starts to regain direction. Chapter 4: The Importance of Mental Fitness. Mental workouts, exercises for a stronger mind. Just as your body needs regular exercise to stay fit, your mind requires consistent training to stay sharp, focused, and resilient. Mental fitness isn't about being intellectually brilliant or emotionally perfect. It's about strengthening your capacity to think clearly, manage stress, and remain emotionally balanced in the face of life's challenges. For men in midlife, this kind of fitness is critical. Think about what happens when you stop using your muscles: they weaken. The same thing happens to your mind. If you coast through your days on autopilot, scrolling endlessly, reacting rather than thinking, and avoiding mental challenges, your brain starts to dull. On the other hand, when you actively engage your mind, especially through activities that require focus, creativity, or problem solving, you build mental strength over time. So, how do you train your brain? One method is to introduce cognitive challenges into your daily life. These don't have to be complicated. Reading books that stretch your perspective, playing strategy games like chess, learning a new language, or trying a hobby that requires fine motor skills or concentration, like woodworking or painting, all force your brain to form new pathways. These mental reps enhance memory, focus, and flexibility. Another key practice for mental fitness is meditation. While often misunderstood, meditation is not about emptying your mind. It's about training your attention. Start small, just 5 to 10 minutes a day of focused breathing. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and notice your breath moving in and out. When your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring it back. This simple habit increases your ability to stay calm under pressure and improves your mental endurance. Over time, you'll notice a greater sense of control over your thoughts and emotions. Journaling is another excellent workout for your mind. Writing down your thoughts helps organize them and gives you clarity. It allows you to track patterns, vent frustrations, and articulate goals. Even just a few sentences each morning or evening can serve as a mental reset, helping you stay grounded and intentional. Also consider your mental environment. What are you feeding your mind each day? If your mental diet consists of constant news, negativity, or online noise, it's no wonder you feel overwhelmed or distracted. Curate what you consume. Read content that inspires you, follow people who challenge you in healthy ways, and limit exposure to toxic inputs. Mental fitness includes managing what enters your mind, not just how you process it. Just like physical workouts, consistency is more important than intensity. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Start with 1 or 2 practices: meditation, a challenging hobby, or a brain game, and build from there. Think of each mental workout as a deposit in your clarity account. Ultimately, a strong mind is not reactive, but responsive. It doesn't panic under stress, it pauses, considers, and proceeds with confidence. By investing in your mental fitness now, you're setting yourself up for a sharper, calmer, and more focused future. Chapter 4: The Importance of Mental Fitness. Mental workouts, exercises for a stronger mind. Your body needs regular movement to stay strong. You already know that. But what many men overlook, especially in midlife, is that your mind needs regular exercise, too. Mental fitness isn't about being a genius or always having the right answers. It's about building a mind that's clear, focused, and steady even when life throws curveballs your way. Midlife brings a unique set of pressures. You're balancing more than ever work, family, finances, health, your sense of identity. That's why mental fitness is no longer a luxury. It's a necessity. It's how you stay grounded when the pace of life feels overwhelming. And just like physical strength, mental strength is something you train for. It doesn't just happen. You build it. Now, imagine what happens to your muscles when you stop using them. They weaken. They lose power. The same thing happens to your mind when it's left on autopilot. If your days are spent endlessly scrolling, reacting without thinking, and avoiding mental challenges, your brain begins to slow down. It loses its sharpness. Focus fades. Stress takes over. But the good news is this: you can change that. You can build mental strength just like you build physical strength through regular, intentional effort. One powerful way to train your brain is to introduce simple cognitive challenges into your everyday life. These don't have to be intense or time-consuming. Even small changes can make a big impact. Read books that challenge your thinking. Play games that require strategy, like chess or puzzles. Learn something new: a language, an instrument, or even a craft like painting or woodworking. These activities light up new parts of your brain and keep it flexible, sharp, and alive. These aren't just hobbies. They're mental reps. They force your brain to stretch, adapt, and grow. Over time, you'll notice your thinking becomes clearer. Your memory improves. You feel more mentally alert and emotionally balanced. Another essential tool for mental fitness is meditation. Don't worry, this isn't about sitting in silence for hours or trying to force your mind to go blank. Meditation is simply training your attention. It's about learning to focus on what's happening right now, rather than being dragged around by stress or distraction. Start small. Just 5 minutes a day. Sit quietly. Close your eyes. Focus on your breath as it moves in and out. Your mind will wander. That's normal. When it does, gently bring it back to your breath. That act of returning your focus, that's the workout. That's how your attention gets stronger. Over time, meditation increases your mental endurance. It helps you stay calm in pressure-filled moments. It gives you more control over your thoughts instead of letting your thoughts control you. Journaling is another excellent mental tool. When you write, you organize your mind. You gain clarity on what's bothering you, what excites you, or what needs to change. You don't need to be a great writer. Just be honest. Write a few sentences in the morning to set your intention for the day. Or write at night to clear your head before bed. Journaling helps you slow down your thinking so you can hear yourself more clearly. And let's talk about your mental environment. Because mental fitness isn't just about what you do, it's also about what you consume. Ask yourself, what are you feeding your mind every day? Is it endless breaking news, mindless social media, or negativity from people around you? If so, it's no wonder you feel mentally drained. Be intentional about your mental diet. Read things that inspire you. Listen to voices that challenge you to grow. Limit the noise. You wouldn't eat junk food all day and expect to feel great. Your brain works the same way. What you take in affects your clarity, mood, and resilience. Now remember, consistency is more important than intensity. You don't need to meditate for an hour or solve complex math problems every night. What matters is doing a little bit, every day. It's like depositing small amounts into a savings account. Over time, those deposits add up to a strong, stable mental foundation. When your mind is fit, you don't just react to life, you respond to it. You don't get lost in panic or frustration. You pause. You reflect. You make choices with clarity and purpose. That's the goal. A strong mind is a steady mind. One that doesn't get knocked over by every challenge. One that grows more capable with every obstacle it faces. So start today. Pick one thing: a short meditation, a page of writing, a challenging activity, and build from there. Strengthen your mind the same way you would strengthen your body. With intention. With patience. And with practice. Because the man with a clear mind doesn't just survive midlife, he thrives in it. Chapter 5, Mindfulness and Presence. Living in the moment, harnessing the power of now. In the thick of midlife, it can feel like you're constantly being pulled in 100 directions. Your work is demanding. Your family needs you. Finances, aging parents, growing children, they all compete for your time and mental space. And somewhere in the middle of it all, your mind begins to wander. You find yourself replaying old mistakes or worrying about what's next. You're thinking about yesterday, planning for tomorrow, but rarely living in today. That drifting mind can quietly steal your peace. It can leave you feeling anxious, distracted, and emotionally disconnected. But there's a powerful remedy for that, and it's not complicated. It's called mindfulness. Mindfulness isn't a trend. It's not some far-off, spiritual concept meant only for monks or meditation gurus. It's a practical, down-to-earth skill, one that can help you find clarity, calm, and control right now, exactly where you are. At its heart, mindfulness is about being present. It's the practice of paying attention to what's happening in the moment on purpose, without judgment. It's about choosing to show up fully for your life, rather than sleepwalking through it on autopilot. When you become more mindful, you reclaim your focus. You quiet the mental noise. And you begin to respond to life, rather than just react to it. For men in midlife, this practice can be life-changing. You've likely spent years in go mode, building, solving, fixing, achieving. You've learned how to push forward. But this season of life invites something deeper. It calls you to slow down and tune in. And that's where mindfulness becomes a tool for growth, not just survival. You don't need to retreat to a mountain cabin or meditate for hours each day. Mindfulness can begin in the most ordinary moments. Start right now. Take a deep breath. Feel it move through your body. Notice the sounds around you. Feel the weight of your feet on the floor or the sensation of air on your skin. That simple act of noticing pulls you out of your head and into the now. And the now is where life happens. Try weaving mindfulness into the routines you already have. Let's say you're eating. Instead of rushing through the meal or scrolling through your phone, slow down. Taste the food. Notice the textures, the flavors. Feel the gratitude for the nourishment. Or when you're walking, even if it's just across a parking lot, feel the ground beneath your feet. Pay attention to the rhythm of your steps, the movement of your body, the temperature of the air. These are quiet moments of presence, and they build awareness over time. Another powerful place to practice mindfulness is in your conversations. Too often, we listen just to respond. We're waiting for our turn to speak. But mindful listening is different. It's about being fully there with the person in front of you. Making eye contact. Absorbing their words. Letting them feel heard. That kind of presence deepens connection and builds trust, not just with others, but with yourself. Over time, mindfulness begins to shift how you experience everything. It helps you notice your emotions before they spiral. It gives you a pause before reacting. It brings more patience into your parenting, more peace into your decision-making, and more depth into your relationships. When your mind starts to wander or when life feels overwhelming, you can use a simple technique to bring yourself back. It's called the 3-2-1 grounding practice. First, name 3 things you can see. Then, name 2 things you can hear. And finally, name 1 thing you can feel in your body, like your hands resting on your legs or your feet pressing against the floor. This short, grounding check-in creates a reset. It brings you back into your body, into the now. Mindfulness isn't about pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's not about avoiding stress or denying reality. It's about meeting life as it is with clarity, with courage, and with compassion. You're not trying to escape your responsibilities, you're learning how to be fully present within them. Because here's the truth, you don't need to escape your life. You need to return to it. One moment at a time. When you do, everything begins to change. Your mind gets quieter. Your decisions get clearer. Your relationships grow deeper. A quiet mind isn't found by silencing the world around you. It's found by learning how to be still within it. In midlife, presence is power. And mindfulness is how you practice that power every single day. Chapter 6, Managing Stress and Avoiding Burnout. Stress Mastery, How to Stay Calm Under Pressure. Midlife can feel like a pressure cooker. Work demands are unrelenting. Bills don't stop. Children need attention. Aging parents need care. And in the quiet moments, if you get any, you may catch yourself asking a deeper question: am I where I thought I'd be by now? All of that adds up. The result? Stress becomes your constant companion. But while stress is a normal part of life, unchecked and unmanaged stress is not. When it goes on too long, it doesn't just wear you down, it breaks you down. That's what we call burnout. And it can quietly creep in without warning. Burnout doesn't show up like a flat tire or a sudden collapse. It builds slowly. It's the exhaustion that doesn't go away after a good night's sleep. It's the irritability that lingers. The lack of motivation. The loss of interest in things you used to enjoy. Sometimes it shows up in the body: headaches, muscle tension, or sleepless nights. And many men write it off as just part of getting older. But it's not. These are warning signs. And the sooner you recognize them, the sooner you can take back control. The first step to mastering stress is awareness. That means regularly checking in with yourself, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Most men were raised to push through, to grind harder, to ignore the signals that something's off. But ignoring stress doesn't make it disappear. It only delays the crash. So start asking yourself real questions: how am I feeling right now? What's weighing me down? Am I showing up for others while secretly running on empty? One simple but powerful technique is learning to pause before you react. When something stressful happens, like an angry message, an unexpected deadline, or a family issue, just stop for a second. Take a breath. Count to 5. This tiny moment of space can change everything. It gives your thinking brain time to catch up before your emotions take over. That small pause builds emotional discipline. And over time, it becomes a powerful habit that helps you stay grounded in high-pressure moments. Another key to managing stress is setting boundaries. In midlife, many men feel like they have to be everything to everyone. The dependable one. The provider. The fixer. But here's the truth: if you say yes to everything, you're eventually saying no to yourself. Boundaries aren't about being selfish. They're about staying sustainable. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Learning to say no to what drains you allows you to say yes to what matters most. This ties directly into prioritization. Not everything on your list needs to be done today. Take a step back and ask yourself, what are the top 3 things I need to focus on right now? Let the rest go. Perfectionism and multitasking are fuel for stress. Simplicity is what brings clarity. When you focus on fewer things with more presence, your mind feels less cluttered and you begin to feel more in control. Now let's talk about recovery. You wouldn't train your body hard every day without giving it rest, and your mind is no different. Stress relief isn't optional. It's essential. Build recovery into your routine the same way you schedule work. That might look like movement, taking a walk, lifting weights, or stretching. It could be writing in a journal, listening to music, stepping outside for fresh air, or spending a few minutes in silence. These are not indulgences. They are investments in your mental well-being. And here's one more thing that matters: connection. Don't go through this alone. Talk to someone. A friend, a partner, a coach, a therapist. Speak honestly. Bottling things up may seem strong, but it only builds pressure. Talking relieves that pressure. It brings perspective, and often, unexpected solutions. The simple act of being heard can help you breathe again. Stress will always be a part of life. But burnout doesn't have to be. With awareness, boundaries, mindful pauses, and regular recovery, you can get ahead of it before it takes over. The goal is not to eliminate stress completely, that's impossible. The goal is to respond to stress with strength, not just react to it with exhaustion. A calm mind under pressure isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. You don't have to wait for things to fall apart before making a change. You can take control now. You can reset your rhythm, protect your peace, and lead your life from a place of calm confidence, not constant crisis. This isn't about escaping pressure. It's about becoming the kind of man who stands strong in the middle of it. That's stress mastery. And that's a skill worth building for the road ahead. Chapter 7, Emotional Intelligence and Relationships. Building strong connections through emotional awareness. By the time you reach midlife, relationships start to shift. Some deepen. Some drift. Some get tested in ways you didn't expect. Whether it's your marriage, friendships, relationships with your kids, or your work connections, how you handle emotions in these moments can shape everything. And here's the truth: the strength of your relationships doesn't come from how tough you are. It comes from how emotionally aware you are. That's where emotional intelligence, what we call EQ, enters the picture. Now, EQ isn't about being touchy-feely or letting emotions run your life. It's about being aware of what you're feeling, why you're feeling it, and how that affects your words, your choices, and your connections. Emotional intelligence is the difference between reacting out of habit and responding with intention. Here's the challenge for a lot of men: we weren't taught this growing up. Many of us were raised to power through, to man up, to hide weakness, fix the problem, and move on. But here's the catch: when emotions are left unchecked, they don't disappear. They leak out in other ways. Through anger, distance, defensiveness, or silence. So let's talk about how you build this skill. It starts with self-awareness. That means paying attention to what's going on inside you before it spills out onto someone else. A few simple questions can shift everything. What am I feeling right now? What triggered this emotion? Is my reaction helping or hurting the situation? Let's say someone criticizes you, your first instinct might be to snap back or shut down. But if you pause for a second and dig deeper, you might realize it's not the comment that triggered you, it's the feeling of being dismissed or not respected. Once you name the emotion, it loses its grip. You can then respond from clarity instead of conflict. From there, we move to self-regulation. This is the ability to manage what you're feeling in the moment without suppressing it or exploding. It's not about bottling things up. It's about creating space between the feeling and the action. That might look like taking a deep breath before replying, walking away from a heated conversation and coming back with a cooler head. Or even reminding yourself, this isn't personal, or I've got this. These small shifts build confidence and help you stay grounded, even under pressure. Next comes empathy, and no, this isn't about fixing everyone's problems. It's about listening. Really listening. Paying attention to what someone else is feeling, without trying to solve it right away. When someone's opening up to you, don't rush to give advice. Instead, try something simple like, sounds like that's been tough for you. Or, tell me more about what's going on. That kind of presence creates connection. Then we get to communication, arguably one of the most underrated skills men can develop. Good communication isn't about having the perfect comeback or dominating the conversation. It's about being honest, clear, and respectful. Start using I statements instead of pointing fingers. For example, instead of saying, "You never listen," say, "I feel unheard when I'm interrupted." It shifts the tone, lowers defenses, and keeps the door open for real conversation. And when someone else is speaking, don't just wait for your turn to talk. Listen to understand, not to win. Now, here's the most important part: emotional intelligence takes practice. No one is great at this overnight. You're going to mess up. We all do. But every time you choose awareness over reaction, or empathy over judgment, you're strengthening your emotional muscles. And what you'll notice over time is powerful. Less conflict. Deeper trust. More meaningful conversations. A calmer inner life. And stronger relationships, not just with others but with yourself. Here's the takeaway. Strong men don't shut down. Strong men don't blow up. Strong men learn to check in, stay grounded, and connect with others from a place of clarity and confidence. Because at the end of the day, your relationships are not just a reflection of who you love, they're a reflection of how well you lead yourself. And the more emotionally intelligent you become, the more powerful and peaceful those relationships will be. Chapter 8: The Role of Nutrition and Exercise. Fuel your mind and body, how health impacts mental clarity. When most men think about boosting mental clarity, they jump straight to productivity hacks, time blocking, to-do lists, maybe even a new app. But what often gets overlooked is the foundation of it all, your body. Because your brain? It's not just floating up there doing its own thing. It's part of the system. And how you fuel and move that system directly affects how sharp, calm, and focused you feel. In midlife, your body starts sending signals whether you're listening or not. Maybe your energy's dipping. Your sleep's getting patchy. You feel more stressed, less patient. You start asking yourself, why am I so off lately? The answer might not be about pushing harder, it might be about fueling better. Let's start with nutrition. Your brain burns more energy than any other organ. It runs on nutrients: glucose, healthy fats, amino acids, vitamins, minerals. When you feed it junk processed food, sugary snacks, and drive-through dinners, your mental performance takes a hit. You feel foggy, scattered, maybe even moody. And you don't always connect it back to what you ate. So how do you eat to think better? Keep it simple. Sustainable. Not a crash diet, just solid choices. Eat whole foods, vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, whole grains, healthy fats like nuts and seeds. Cut back on sugar and refined carbs, they spike your energy, then crash it and your focus crashes with it. Stay hydrated, even mild dehydration can slow your brain down and zap your energy. Watch caffeine and alcohol, they're fine in moderation, but too much can disrupt sleep and mess with your mood. You don't have to change everything overnight. Swap the chips for almonds. Add a handful of greens to your lunch. Drink an extra glass of water. These little choices stack up fast. Now, let's talk exercise. This isn't about six-packs or beach bodies. It's about brain health, mood regulation, and long-term resilience. Moving your body pumps more blood to your brain. It boosts serotonin and dopamine, those feel-good chemicals that help stabilize your mood. It also burns off cortisol, the stress hormone that keeps your mind in fight or flight mode. You don't need an intense gym routine. Just move every day if you can. Go for a brisk walk. Ride your bike. Swim a few laps. Do push-ups or resistance training at home. Try some yoga or mobility work. Even 10 minutes is better than zero. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. And once it becomes part of your rhythm, it stops being a task, and becomes a release. And don't ignore sleep. This is where real mental clarity begins. Without solid, restorative sleep, your brain can't reset. It struggles to process emotions, lock in memories, and stay sharp throughout the day. Aim for 7 to 8 hours. Set a wind-down routine. Keep screens off at night. Make your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Protect your rest like you would your most valuable meeting because it is. Here's the big idea. You don't need a total overhaul. You just need a few simple, smart habits done consistently. Eat like your brain depends on it because it does. Move like your mood depends on it because it does. Sleep like your life depends on it because, long term, it absolutely does. Taking care of your body is taking care of your mind. This is what self-leadership looks like, building a strong foundation so you can lead your life with clarity, strength, and presence. Because when your body feels good, your mind follows. And when your mind is clear, everything else gets easier. Chapter 9, Reclaiming Purpose and Passion. Rediscover your drive, finding meaning in midlife. At some point in midlife, the question quietly shifts. It's no longer how do I succeed, but why does this even matter? You may have reached the milestones you once worked so hard for: career wins, financial stability, family responsibilities fulfilled. On paper, it looks like you've done it all right. But inside, there's a whisper. A kind of restlessness. The old routines don't hit like they used to. The drive that once pushed you forward now feels flat. This isn't failure. It's a signal. It's your inner voice nudging you to reconnect with meaning, with passion, with purpose. Because purpose is more than a job title or a paycheck. It's what fuels you. It's what gives your daily efforts meaning. When you lose that connection, life can feel mechanical. One day bleeds into the next. You're doing all the things, but something's missing. But when you reclaim your purpose, everything changes. You wake up with more clarity. You move through your days with a sense of direction. You stop reacting to life and start responding with intention. So, how do you get that back? How do you rediscover your drive? It starts with one honest question. What truly matters to you beyond the roles and responsibilities? What excites you? What do you naturally get pulled toward? What makes you lose track of time when you're doing it? These are clues. Real ones. For some men, it might be mentoring younger guys. For others, it could be creating something, writing, building, designing. It could be serving your community or returning to a forgotten passion like music, woodworking, or coaching. Here's a simple exercise to get you started. Make a list of 5 things you used to love doing back when you didn't care about being productive or practical. Then ask, why did I stop? What would it look like to try one of these again, even just for 30 minutes a week? You don't need to monetize it. You don't need to be the best at it. You just need to make space for it. Because passion doesn't need to be profitable to be powerful. And if your current work feels empty, ask yourself, can I bring purpose into this role? Maybe it's through mentoring a junior colleague. Maybe it's improving a system that helps others. Maybe it's using your influence to bring more meaning into the culture around you. And if that's not possible, then maybe, just maybe, it's time to explore a new direction. Midlife isn't the end. It's an inflection point. You've got experience. You've got wisdom. You've got options. Purpose doesn't only live in your career either. It shows up in how you love your partner. How you raise your kids. How you show up for your friends, your community, your own soul. It can be found in spiritual growth. In being a better listener. In finally slowing down enough to be present. One of the biggest lies of midlife is this. It's too late. Too late to start over. Too late to try something new. Too late to dream differently. That is nonsense. This season of life might be the best time to rediscover your purpose because now you're more grounded. You know what matters. You're done with pretending, and ready to be real. Start small. Read about a subject you've always been curious about. Sign up for that class. Volunteer. Block off 1 hour a week to do that thing you keep saying you'll get around to. You don't have to blow up your life to feel alive again. You just need to listen to that inner voice, the one whispering, there's more than this. And then? Start moving in its direction. Purpose isn't something you find. It's something you remember. And then you rebuild it step by step, moment by moment. With clarity. With courage. And with the knowing that you still have more to give and more to live. Chapter 10, Mental Clarity and Aging Gracefully. The Wisdom of Age, How to Cultivate Peace and Clarity. Aging is inevitable. But suffering through it? That part is optional. For many men in midlife, the signs show up quietly: a little more gray, a little less stamina, a longer recovery time after a workout or a late night. And then there's that deeper realization, the one that tells you youth is no longer at the center of your story. But this chapter of life? It doesn't have to be a decline. In fact, it can be a rise into wisdom, into clarity, into calm strength. The problem is, society doesn't teach us how to age well. Instead, it teaches us to resist aging. To fight it? Stay young, stay fast, stay on top, or risk being forgotten. But here's the truth. Chasing youth is a losing game. And you were never meant to play it forever. The real power comes from leaning into what age gives you, things youth can't. Wisdom. Perspective. Self-understanding. Emotional depth. The kind of clarity that comes only from living, learning, and letting go. Mental clarity in the season of life doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from knowing what to hold onto and what to release. Let go of the old grudges. Let go of impossible expectations. Let go of the need to impress or outperform everyone around you. When you let go, your mind gets lighter. And in that space, clarity shows up. Not clouded by ego or insecurity, but sharpened by experience and acceptance. To age gracefully, redefine what success looks like. Maybe in your 20s and 30s, success was about climbing the ladder, making money, proving yourself. That served its purpose. But now, success might look like peace of mind. Like deep, fulfilling relationships. Like meaningful work, solid health, and a slower, more intentional life. That's a better scoreboard. And it's one that aligns with the man you're becoming. Here are a few ways to cultivate clarity as you grow older. 1. Practice reflection. Set aside time once a week, even to check in with yourself. What's working? What's not? What's calling for your attention? You don't need answers right away. Sometimes the act of slowing down and asking is enough. Journaling, long walks, or sitting quietly in the morning can lead to the kind of insight that changes everything. 2. Simplify. Midlife is a perfect time to reduce the noise. Say no more often. Trim the fat, whether it's in your schedule, your relationships, or your commitments. Focus on fewer, deeper things. Fewer people but more meaningful conversations. Fewer goals but more aligned ones. 3. Take care of your body. Clarity starts with energy. And energy starts with movement, good sleep, and clean fuel. You don't need to be an athlete, you just need to stay in motion. Stretch. Walk, breathe. Eat foods that give you life, not just convenience. Your body is the vehicle that carries your mind, treat it like it matters. Because it does. 4. Stay connected. Aging can feel isolating if you let it. So don't. Make time for honest conversation. Find men you can open up with. Relationships that go beneath the surface are what keep us sharp, grounded, and alive. 5. Explore your legacy. This isn't about ego. It's about impact. What do you want to pass on? What stories, values, or lessons will outlive you? Mentor someone. Teach what you've learned. Share your scars and your wisdom, they matter more than you think. Here's one of the most freeing truths of the season. You no longer have anything to prove. You don't need to compete with your younger self. You don't need to out-hustle the guy next to you. You've already earned your voice, and now is the time to use it with calm, grounded authority. Because a quiet mind isn't a weak mind. It's a focused, powerful one. Mental clarity isn't reserved for the young, it's the reward for those who've paid attention, who've grown, who've earned their peace. So let this chapter of life be your best yet. Let it be marked not by resistance, but by acceptance. Not by chasing something lost but by standing fully in who you've become. You haven't peaked. You've evolved. And the man you're becoming now, the one with calm eyes, steady hands, and a quiet strength, he might just be your most powerful self yet. Conclusion: a strong mind leads to a quiet life. Living with clarity, purpose, and peace in the second half. Midlife often begins with questions. Who am I now? What really matters? Where do I go from here? But if you lean in, if you're willing to do the work, those questions eventually lead to answers. Not always flashy or dramatic, but clear. Grounded. True. By the time you reach your 40s or 50s, life changes shape. It's no longer about the hustle, the grind, or proving yourself to the world. Now, it's about clarity. It's about peace. It's about meaning. It's about building a strong mind that doesn't crumble under pressure, and a quiet life that feels full, even without the noise of comparison, distraction, or constant striving. Throughout this book, we've walked through the key pillars of mental clarity in midlife. We began with understanding the transition itself, why the season feels different, and why that's okay. We explored how resilience, structure, and discipline provide the bedrock for emotional stability. We uncovered the power of mindfulness, emotional awareness, and physical health. We talked about purpose and how vital it is to have a reason that pulls you forward. And through it all, one message kept coming up. Mental clarity isn't a destination. It's a daily practice. You won't always feel dialed in. Some days, stress will win. Old habits might resurface. That's life. But the goal was never perfection, it's presence. It's choosing again and again to live with intention. To pause before reacting. To think before speaking. To move through your day anchored in who you are, not in what the world demands. Because a strong mind isn't a rigid mind. It's flexible. It adapts. It bends without breaking. And a quiet life doesn't mean you shrink back from the world. It means you are no longer ruled by chaos. You move with calm, not noise. With purpose, not pressure. In your younger years, maybe you chased success, status, recognition. And maybe you earned some of it. But the second half of life? That's when you chase something deeper. Wisdom. Self-respect. Peace. And none of that comes from the outside. It's built from within. The tools are already in your hands. You don't need a full life makeover. You just need to apply what you know, one breath, one decision, one day at a time. Wake up with intention. Move your body. Feed your mind with what nourishes it. Speak truthfully. Listen deeply. Let go of what you can't control. And protect your peace, because it's worth more than gold. And if you ever feel lost again, just return to the question. What kind of man do I want to be now? Let that guide your steps. Midlife isn't a crisis. It's a crossroads. And now you have a map. You don't need to run from your life to find peace. You just need to build it from the inside out. With clarity. With consistency. With courage. Remember, the strongest mind isn't the loudest. The best life isn't the busiest. And the wisest man isn't the one who knows everything. He's the one who knows himself. So here's to the next chapter. To a strong mind. And a quiet, powerful life. A strong mind leads to a quiet life. By building mental resilience, cultivating healthy habits, and staying emotionally aware, you can reclaim your mental clarity and live a peaceful, focused, and fulfilling life well into your later years. The journey of mental fitness doesn't end here. But with small steps, consistency, and a commitment to self-awareness, you can make these the best, most meaningful years of your life. Thank you for listening. And thank you for choosing to lead yourself forward.